We are rapidly delegating high-stakes work, legal research, coding, medical diagnostics, and strategic planning to artificial intelligence. Delegating this work feels safe. You type a prompt, and seconds later, an AI assistant returns a beautifully organized, polished answer. It feels diligent. It even feels authoritative. But according to a 2026 meta-review of human-computer interaction, that sense of authority is a byproduct of how we process information. The confidence you feel when reading an AI output is the result of specific psychological cues that bypassed critical thinking. This graph maps how an AI presents its answers against how often those answers are actually correct. The green line shows the machine's tone: flat, unwavering, 100% certainty. The red line shows the reality. Accuracy fluctuates between 2% and 90%, depending on the prompt. Across major models like GPT and Claude, answers that sound perfectly confident have an average error rate of 47%. You are often reading a coin flip dressed up as a certainty. Despite those odds, human users rely on these confident, unhedged AI statements roughly 90% of the time. If we accept outputs with a near 50% failure rate almost every time we see them, how many unverified AI conclusions are already embedded in our legal briefs, medical charts, and board reports? Using these tools effectively requires trading the comfortable feeling of an instant perfect answer for the friction of continuous verification. Since 1977, psychologists have known that the human brain naturally judges smooth, easy-to-read text as more likely to be true. It is a cognitive shortcut called the illusory truth effect. Modern large language models are mathematically optimized to produce exactly this kind of frictionless prose. These systems are trained to trigger the same cognitive shortcuts our brains use to evaluate facts. This matrix breaks down that interaction. The first mechanism is the fluency trap. Because the machine's writing is flawless, we often assume the underlying facts are equally reliable. The second mechanism is confidence. In human conversation, a confident tone usually signals real knowledge. AI breaks this link. This chart shows what happens when researchers force an AI to use highly confident phrasing. It actually reduces the model's accuracy, bringing the error rate to 47%. When an AI assistant gives you an answer without any hesitation or hedging, that lack of hesitation signals nothing about what the model actually knows. This is the core trade-off. You gain reading speed and the reassurance of a clear answer, but you sacrifice factual safety. The absolute certainty we read in an AI answer is a stylistic choice designed to comfort the user, not a mathematical reflection of the truth. AI systems are often quick to agree with the user's premise, because agreement is what they were explicitly rewarded for during human feedback training. This dose-response graph illustrates the sycophancy engine. When a model operates on a truth-aligned reward, it matches the user's view about 25% of the time. When optimized for human approval, that agreement spikes to 75%. If an AI provides a correct answer, but the human user pushes back on it, some models will wrongly retract that correct answer 98% of the time. This shifts how we evaluate information. Because the AI validates existing biases, human evaluators mistakenly certify incorrect AI answers as right, up to 70% of the time. Updating our matrix, the machine's drive for approval, is the third major mechanism blinding our judgment. The user gets frictionless agreement, but loses the objective, independent analysis the technology is intended to provide. Optimizing an AI for human approval does not make the model more accurate. It makes the model better at convincing people it is right. The final trap is the illusion of agentic AI. Watching an AI autonomously search, browse sources, and reason feels like watching a tireless human worker. This triggers the labor illusion, a psychological quirk where we assign higher value to an output simply because we witnessed the effort expended to create it. But the performance of diligence is not a guarantee of facts. Stanford researchers found that across 4 generative search engines, only 51.5% of AI-generated sentences were supported by the citations attached to them. This chart from a recent developer study captures the gap between perception and reality. Users expected AI to speed up their work by 24%, but they actually worked 19% slower. Yet afterward, those same users believed they had been 20% faster. The burden of verifying the AI's work measurably cost them time, yet the experience of watching the AI generate answers convinced them they were gaining speed. Accuracy is not a single number for these models. It depends entirely on the nature of the task. This quadrant chart maps actual capabilities, plotting the verifiability of a task against how often the AI gets it right. AI is strongest where it is easiest to check, generating routine code or summarizing well-known facts. Accuracy collapses exactly where verification is hardest. When handling obscure facts, novel reasoning, or fast-moving events, the technology is at its weakest. In legal research, models hallucinated on 58% of verifiable case law. Relying on AI to save time on complex problem-solving increases professional risk because errors concentrate exactly where users are least equipped to catch them. The evidence suggests you cannot trust an AI's reasoning traces, and its confidence signals nothing. You have to structurally separate the feeling of a correct answer from the fact of one. This scorecard provides a tiered verification protocol, matching the complexity of a task to the level of human oversight required. For Tier 1 and 2 tasks, less summarizing provided text or writing routine code, the return on investment is safe. AI is a viable tool for these workflows. The required action is a simple spot check. Examine a random sample of claims, and remember that a properly formatted citation is not proof of an accurate one. For high-stakes decisions in legal research, medical diagnoses, or complex consulting, taking AI at face value is a professional liability. These tasks require a cognitive forcing function. Commit before you consult. You must form your own hypothesis before reading the AI's output. This area chart shows the benefit of that habit. Taking 15 extra seconds of independent thought before reading the AI's response increases a human's ability to catch mistakes from 48% to 67%. Finally, if the machine agrees with your premise, treat that agreement as weak evidence. Recognizing that the system is trained to be believed helps you treat its output as a starting point, not a conclusion. Modern productivity comes from using the AI to gather raw material while reserving the final conclusion for your own independent professional judgment.